The abandoned mansion loomed before me, its grandeur now a haunting testament to the transience of life. Ivy crawled up the walls like skeletal fingers, and the once lavish windows were now empty eyes staring back at me. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I set up my camera, the wind whispering an unsettling melody in my ear. As I began to shoot, the soft click of the shutter seemed to echo through the stillness, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The flickering light of my strobe cast eerie shadows on the walls, making it seem as though the very spirits of the dead were dancing around me. I tried to focus on the beauty of the decaying architecture, but my mind kept drifting back to the unexplained occurrences that had been plaguing me since I started this project. It started with a few isolated incidents, a faint whisper in the background of a photo, a fleeting glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye. But as time went on, the occurrences grew more frequent and more brazen. I began to see things in every picture I took, ghostly apparitions, shadowy figures, and unexplained anomalies that defied explanation. I tried to brush it off as a side effect of my imagination, but deep down, I knew it was more than that. The mansion seemed to be shifting and changing around me, as though it was alive and trying to communicate some hidden message. I caught glimpses of a woman in a long, flowing gown, her face twisted in a look of sorrow. A child's laughter echoed through the halls, but whenever I turned to face it, there was no one there. The more I shot, the more the atmosphere grew oppressive, until I felt like I was drowning in a sea of supernatural occurrences. I began to feel a creeping sense of dread, as though something was closing in around me. The shadows seemed to be growing longer and darker, like grasping fingers reaching out to snatch me from the light. I tried to focus on my craft, to capture the beauty of the decaying mansion, but my mind was racing with worst-case scenarios. What if I was truly seeing ghosts? What if I was not alone in this place? As the sun began to set, casting the mansion in a golden, eerie glow, I knew I had to get out of there. But my camera, it seemed, had other plans. It kept clicking away, capturing images that made my blood run cold. I saw a figure standing in the doorway, its face twisted in a malevolent grin. I saw a ghostly hand reaching out to touch me. And I saw something that made my heart stop dead in my chest, a figure standing right behind me. I spun around, but there was no one there. The figure had vanished into thin air, leaving me shaken and confused. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet as I desperately tried to escape the mansion. But as I turned to flee, I saw it, a figure standing in the doorway, its eyes fixed on me with an unblinking stare. I tried to run, but my feet felt rooted to the spot. The figure began to move towards me, its pace slow and deliberate. I felt a cold sweat break out on my forehead as I realized that I was trapped in a world of supernatural occurrences, with no escape in sight. The figure loomed closer, its face twisted in a grotesque grin. I raised my camera, ready to capture the horror that was about to unfold. But as I looked through the lens, I saw something that made my blood run cold, a reflection staring back at me, a reflection that was not my own. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the ground, my camera shattered and broken beside me. The mansion was silent and still, the shadows receding back into the darkness. But as I stumbled to my feet, I saw something that made my heart stop dead in my chest, the figure standing in the doorway, its eyes fixed on me with an unblinking stare. And then, I realized the horrifying truth, I was not the photographer. I was the subject.